Hi folks, welcome back to our video tutorials. In this tutorial I would like to show you how to add more panels to your accordion panel component. So let's jump right into Dreamweaver and open up the accordion panels LBI page. So library, components, accordion panels, and finally the accordion panels LBI. Now I'm going to suggest you do this in code view. You don't need to know HTML. We're just going to switch over and do some copying and pasting and then renaming of two bits of text. So let's scroll right down to the bottom and let's just add another panel to the bottom. We'll copy an existing panel and we'll paste it. So everything's commented here with the sort of panel 9, and there's panel 9 there. We have panel 8. Then we scroll down a little bit, there's panel 8 there. So everything is in blocks of text, or code I should say, not text. Well, it is text, but and all we need to do is copy an existing block and paste it wherever we want it to be displayed. So typically you would grab, say, the last one in the group. We'll use panel 9 here. We'll copy all of that, including the comment tags. And then we're just going to put our cursor right down here above the do not edit below this line, just above that. Hit enter a few times, move our cursor up to give ourselves a little bit of space to work with, and we'll just paste. Control V on our keyboard, and there we go. Now there's one very, very important thing you need to do before we switch over to the design window for editing, and that is I'm going to, just for organization purposes, rename this to panel 10 and panel 10. That's just for later on when I come back here, I'll know what I did. And the most important thing is right here. This href and this href must match, but they also must be different and unique. They cannot use the same number and ID as another box. So just to keep things simple, we're just going to change the 9 to 10. I'm just going to double click on the collapse 10, copy it, and double click on collapse 9 and paste. I could easily have just as easily as changed 9 to 10 by scrubbing over with my mouse, but I was feeling a little bit lazy there. So these have to match. They don't actually have to say collapse 10 or collapse 10. They can actually be any unique identifier. Personally for me, keeping things in a numerical order just makes sense. All right? Even, and here's the cool thing, we've pasted panel 10 at the very bottom. Even if you wanted panel 10 to be higher up on the page, say we want it to be right after panel 2. We now want it to be the new third panel. We're going to paste that up there, and even though it says collapse 10 and collapse 10, it's still going to show up in the third position. So the number doesn't dictate where it's displayed, it's just a unique identifier for this one particular panel. And it has to be unique. It cannot share the same div ID or the same href as any other panel, and they must be exactly the same. The only difference between these two obviously is this pound sign, which indicates that it's a link, and this does not have the pound sign because it's an ID, an identifier. All right, so if I were to save this page now, update, what I'm going to do is let me just quickly change the heading. Here we've called this optional backgrounds. I'm just going to call it new panel and save like so, and close. We'll go back to our web editor, or sorry, our web browser, and there we go, new panel backgrounds. I click and it expands just like I would want it to. So now I can go back and edit the content for that particular panel.